Then I kept pushing him to the point where one of his guards whispered in my ear in Portuguese, and my translator was like panicking, and he said, if you ask that one more time, he's gonna shoot him. I went to Brazil, I went to Colombia, I went to South Africa, I went to the Philippines, I went to Marseille in Sweden. And I mean, the interesting thing
Marseille, south of France.
Ranked number 1 on Europe's 2025 most dangerous places.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, where I stayed was like, you know, on the docks, absolutely beautiful, but literally 5 minutes is the poorest neighborhood in Europe. You know what I mean?
Is it?
It's the home of the French Connection. French Connection was the biggest heroin network in the world. Supplied 80% of America's heroin. You know, like it, and it's all stemmed from there. But the other thing, Spence, I was in like Brazil. But just to give you an example, you're sitting there, like, number one, I went to some favelas that nobody had ever been to before, media crews. And as soon as you cross the line in that favela, you know, you got 25 guys with AR-15s, AK-47s, grenades, and you know that there's murders here every single day. But I went into a militia favela, right? And you got a guy sitting closer than we are now with 2 revolvers, got no safety on. And this guy's got a serious history of murdering people and been a leader of multiple factions. And he's got his 12 a.m. at night, you've got all of these armed guards in the middle of a militia-run favela, and he's doing this with his revolvers, and he's dropping them on the floor. You know, he's had a drink.
You sat opposite him?
I've sat closer than we are now, and they're touching my knees, right? And then you ask him questions, and he doesn't want to really give you the answers. You know, like, they're doing good things, they're great people, the community love them. And then I kept pushing him to the point where one of his guards whispered in my ear in Portuguese something, and I looked at my translator, and my translator was like panicking, and he said, if you ask that one more time, he's going to shoot him in the head. And you're like, okay.
Bloody hell.
So that, and it was as real as that. There was no security, because there can't be security, because if you take 2 security, they've got 100. So you're just going in there with, you know, energy, love, open-mindedness, and trying to build a relationship and a connection to extract, you know, some information that can hopefully, you know, translate around the world to people and to understand people's situations, what they have to go through, be a voice for them, but also give some kind of relatability to people to understand that, you know, maybe here in the UK, their situation is not so bad. You know, we can be better and do more.
This sounds like pretty wild stuff, mate.
Yeah.
With what you're getting up to now, the traveling around the world, you know, meeting gangs, experiencing danger firsthand, meeting young men who perhaps look and feel a bit lost because they haven't got that inspiration in their lives, that role model to look up to. Do you see any of your former self, you know, in these trips?
I guess, you know, it identified that I could have gone one way or the other for real, and it could have easily been as simple as turning left or right. It highlighted to me what that could have led to, even though I've got friends, you know, here that have lost their lives or ended up in prison. One of the main things that it did, though, was show me that in multiple countries, in multiple dangerous areas with multiple dangerous people, that a lot of us just want the same thing. And what I meant by that is, you know, I met a lady in Marseille, for example, that her son got murdered. And after the interview, I stood up with that lady and I hugged her. And she squeezed me like that hard for about a minute, 2 minutes. And it was beautiful. It was sad, but we had a connection, you know, pain. The next day, I went and met a contract killer. And after the interview, I stood up and opened my arms. Don't know why. I felt like it because this guy had absolutely nothing. He didn't have anything to start his life with. Never mind now, and he's got guilt and all of these things on top of that. And he hugged me, and the hug felt the same from him as it did the woman. It must have been 2 minutes. You know, you're looking at Brazil. I met a lady that had 2 children murdered. I hugged her. She was emotional. I went to the militia boss and asked him a question, and he must have cried for the next 20 minutes. And it was, thank you. It was the first time in my life someone's asked me a real question. I never met a single person on this trip that I felt in danger of, yeah, once I'd met them. And a lot of the time, all these people wanted was to be listened to, heard, or loved. And some people in this world haven't even got that privilege. So it made me realize that I have got that privilege and also what I can do with that privilege.
Sleep is the most impactful and natural performance-enhancing tool at our disposal. Without it, my body would simply not be able to recover and repair itself after I go for a run or a workout. It is essential to maintaining and enhancing our well-being. With Whoop, I'm able to track my sleep every single night and how it affects the type of activities I choose to do the following day. Think of sleep as your bank balance. The best thing is that every single day you get the chance to deposit more into the bank so that in the long term, you withdraw in the form of energy expenditure when you need it most. Whoop breaks down sleep so as to take the guesswork out of the equation. Not only do you get guidance each day around how much sleep you need based on your activity that day and what your optimal time to go to bed is, but with Whoop, you get a detailed analysis of the quality of your sleep and what you can do to be improving it. In addition to monitoring your sleep, you'll also get detailed insights into your recovery, stress levels, strain, and feedback on how your lifestyle choices impact each of these metrics. If you are interested in taking control of your health and wellness so that you can excel in all aspects of your life, you have to go and check out Whoop. Go to join.whoop.com/untapped to try Whoop for free for 30 days today.
I also thought, how can I really, raise two young men in this world if I don't know to the extent what's happening in it? So it was very beneficial for that too. I think there needs to be more role models, especially in areas of poverty, deprived areas, areas that seem like they have no hope, to encourage belief. I think there needs to be people that can actually influence in those areas to help out the areas, because a lot of the time it's a systemic problem. And also I hope that, with this series, it can show that compassion with certain people goes a long way. Some of these people aren't necessarily bad people. They come from bad areas, they've been through bad situations, and they're surrounded by nothing but bad things. But them themselves, all they need is encouragement, a helping hand, and somebody that will listen to them and show them a bit of love, and it can change a lot. I know how I felt for most of my life, feeling like an outsider. I feel like I was pushed out by the people around me. So that's why I chose to have a different approach with this show. And I wasn't there to be the judge, jury, or executioner. I was there, and outside of trying to create an amazing show, first and foremost, I was there because I wanted everybody I spoke to feel better after they spoke to me than before they started. And I think I achieved that.
Brother, that's very profound stuff.
Have a positive effect on people, man. And my people will tell you this. There is no person I'll speak to on a day-to-day basis, even if I'm fucking in the middle of my food or in the middle of a phone call, how rudely they interrupt me, that I'm not like, yeah, no problem. I'll give them time, I'll give them space, and I want them to walk away better. And that's how I choose to live my life. That's how I choose to spend my days. And it always comes round full circle, It doesn't matter that I don't feel good that day. It doesn't mean I have to inflict that on someone else. I use that opportunity to be able to help someone else, and then maybe I feel a little bit better on the turnaround.
It's cool, man. It's again, like, you were very kind earlier when we first saw each other to say that you were proud of me. Like, I'm proud of you. I think it's so cool, everything you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, look, right? I think a reason why it's proud, because it's not usual, especially in the UK, to see somebody like me with my background producing their own show and presenting it, for the BBC, and really taking charge of something like this with a great budget and stuff. So that was a really proud moment for me, that the BBC had recognised my journey, recognised the impact I had on people, and then wanted to trust me and put me in a position where I could go to some of the most dangerous places in the world